Way to go, Camillia.
Yes.
Oh, man.
It's not even my podcast.
Wow. All right, I'm done, guys. Camillia's going to take over for the next, 20, 30 episodes. And then maybe I'll jump back in. Wow. I could not, because I was like, it's never
You're like,
done
what
this.
is this?
I know. I was like, it's never done this. I don't know what's happening. The equipment's not working. Of course it would do it right as we're filming one. Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
okay.
No
You're
I
hired.
got you.
You're right. I can't pay you, but you could be the production assistant.
The few hours that I have spared, all yours.
That's the problem with technology.
I know.
One little thing and it messes everything
Your
up.
phone was literally like right under this.
I know.
It's so weird.
I was like, why? Because it only was picking it up on the headphones. And I was like, I don't know where this is coming from. It's got to be a connection. It's got to be something. On the phone.
Fiddling with that thing the whole time.
My God. Yeah, because when I went like that, I was like, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
And then you're like, the phone.
Oh my gosh.
Story of my life. That basically
Growing pains.
Yeah, that basically just sums up the podcast in 30 seconds.
You're like,
Growing pains. Oh, it's the phone underneath the microphone causing static. Okay.
my guest is gonna figure it out, not me.
See, that's why I bring people on, is so you can help me figure this out. We can work through these problems.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so take me back.
Yes. The stigma about living with your parentals.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard.
I think it stems from if you go away, especially if you go away, right? Because if you just went to HSU or something, it's not that big of a deal. But if you move away and then you come back and you go and you're living with your parents, you feel kind of like a loser.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, wow, I've regressed. Like,
Yeah.
I was free and now I'm not.
Yeah. Especially if you come back because like you don't know what you want to do or where you're going, then it just feels like, oh man, I got out and now I'm here.
Yeah.
Like now this is my life again.
Yeah.
It feels like a backstep.
It does feel like a backstep.
Yeah.
It does. Like, I don't think necessarily that I think like, for what, like various reasons, you're going to have to like have some help sometimes, and I think like just like coming to terms with that, I think really helped me. Like, I was like, okay, like, like things aren't going to be always how I want them to be, but I think it was definitely like for my maturity really important because it was like I moved out and I was like with my aunt and uncle. So there was still like, I didn't have to pay bills or anything. And it was like, like it was like a good step forward. And then it was like, okay, I was going to move to New Mexico. I was going to pay my rent or whatever. That didn't work out. And so like I kind of moved back. I moved back with my parents and I was like, great. But then I was like, you know what? It really drove me to like, I can't do this anymore. I have to move out. Like I have to pay my own bills. I have to be my own person. And so I did. I was like, like this is what I got to do. And so it was just like, baby steps. And now I'm at a place that I'm really happy and I'm really happy in Arcata and I'm really happy like with the friends that I've made. So, like it definitely isn't what I had thought graduating high school. Cause I think we have all these like ideas, like we're all going to be great. And like just the rhetoric after we graduate is just so insane. Like we're like so like hubristic. Like we're like, yes, like we're
I'm going to go change the world.
Yeah. But then you're like, oh, okay, it's not going to happen like that. But that's okay, and you're going to figure out what you like to do anyway. So
yeah. And most of the time, when you look back at it, it all works out for the best.
It does.
I know everyone likes to say that, and you're like, okay, whatever. But it does in some weird way.
In some weird way, it does. I think because we just like, usually you're just going to make it better. Like, you're like, okay, well, I don't like this, so I'm going to change it up.
Yeah, how do we fix it?
Yeah.
And high school's hard when you're about to go away to college just because everyone's got these plans.
Oh, yeah.
And some people are doing it, and then you're like, crap,
Yeah.
I don't have any plans. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I remember hearing everyone be like, oh, I'm going to UC Davis or UCLA or, oh, man, I'm going to Ohio. Maybe not Ohio. I probably wouldn't have been jealous of that. But like you hear people say, oh, I'm going here, I'm going there. And then I was like, oh, man, I'm going to CR. Like, this is my trip. I guess this is my first step into adulthood is CR.
Yeah.
And there's a weird feeling. You just don't feel good.
No.
You're a little jealous. You're a little upset that like, this is where I'm going. Like, this is what's happening.
You're
to
like,
me.
wow, this is it for me. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I think that was the hardest part for me was just working over the fact of, okay, this isn't end all be all. Like, this is just a step.
Yeah.
And I don't think enough people, because it's hard to grasp that.
It is hard to grasp, especially like I think, we're so young. Like it's crazy. Like I was so naive, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I had my whole life was like paid for, bought, everything. But yeah, no, definitely it was definitely I did feel myself though. I was like, you know what? Even though I'm going to a community college, I'm in Santa Rosa. Like, know, I don't know, it's weird. We're weird.
I think it's because nobody has a real direction. And so when you find something that, oh man, I'm going to go here to school, you hold on to that because you're like, okay, this is my,
perfect.
This is my direction. This is my step. This is where I'm going to start my life. Yeah. And then you get there and everything changes.
It's just not it.
Yeah.
I think like also like you have like no real idea what it is, like what it's like after high school.
No, you don't even know what life is.
Yeah, no.
You only know high school.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you don't even know what's going to happen. And so you graduate and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't miss it though. I don't miss not knowing. Like I'm happy. Like I wish we had learned these skills before. Mm-hmm. You know, like this is, you know, how about you for like your senior project, go work, like go get an internship where you'd want to work, you know? So like just like little things like that. Like I feel like we weren't taught, or like, you know, I feel like there's so much valuable like information that like kids could be learning in high school, which they're not.
Yeah.
You know, instead like we were in Turpin's class dicking around like
oh, Mr. Turpin. Yeah, I mean, especially with like financial literacy.
Oh yeah.
And like, hey, watch out for student loans.
Yeah.
Hey, always pay off your credit card because that it compounds. Mm-hmm. Like little things like that you don't know until you get out into the world and you're doing it, and then you're like,
you're like, great.
Yeah, I've got $600 worth of interest because loans are racking up, or I've got this, or I mean all these things that you don't know.
Yeah.
And you're dumped out into the world and you're like, okay, figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, okay, like how am I gonna do this?
Yeah. Mom, I don't know how to do this.
Exactly.
Somebody help me. I mean, it's crazy what they teach you compared to what they don't.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it is like what information. I don't even think like there's very little information that I think I've gotten from high school that was like valuable for me now.
Yeah. I always talk about, did you ever take Pursue's class?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. That's the one I always go to. It's like, what did Pursue is an awesome teacher. Little promo for Pursue right there, in case he hears this. But
he's like, yeah, I know.
If you're not interested in the subject, especially, you know, history, it's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
What was it? It was AP Government.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you 3 things we learned in there.
No. Okay. I can name 2 things at least that, oh my gosh, the like different toppings on the taco and how that like plays into government. And he told us like, remember the "you are here"?
Oh, I do remember the "you are here." Yeah.
That's all I know.
That's all I got. I got one thing. I don't even remember the taco thing.
I was supposed to take the AP test and I forgot. I was like all signed up. Like just like the plethora of embarrassing things that I've done in my life. But I literally was all signed up. I slept through my alarm. And I got to school and I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know that this was the day for our AP test. Like, I was supposed to be there earlier.
Where is everybody?
Yeah, I walked in and I was like, why is it so empty? And Pursuit was like, aren't you supposed to be in the test? I was like,
that's today?
I was like, yeah.
What did you do?
I like ran down to the office. I was like, can I still take it? And they were like, no, sorry. And
which is dumb because it's closed. So it's not like we have access to our phones to text you what's going on.
Oh, I know. And it's like, I paid for it.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know anyway. But yeah, so they were like, no, you can't. But yeah, so I didn't take it.
You didn't miss anything.
No, I didn't.
I think I got like a 1.
Yeah.
Maybe I got a 2. I think I was proud of getting a 2 because I guessed on 99% of that. Yeah, I was just walking, and I was talking to Brayden afterwards, and I was like, man, that was just... I hope they give you a point for your name because I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
But it was just, I mean... Classes like that, like, what are you really pulling from that?
Exactly. I mean, like, I think the only benefit from it was, like, you could use those credits in college.
Yeah. Which some of them don't transfer over.
Exactly.
Which they don't tell you.
Yeah.
So that was a big wake-up call, especially transferring around. Because, these credits are accepted here, but they're not accepted at this other school, and then they're not at this one. Mm-hmm. I mean, was that hard, transferring to... HSU? Did a lot come over with you?
A lot came over. I think I had to like I know I had to petition one class like to get one class to like send through or whatever. Like so I just had to like write why I thought like it was the same or whatever. But I remember transferring to UNM and like having my SRJC transcripts and that like it was like there was so much. He was like, okay, well this doesn't work for us. This one doesn't work for us. So you're gonna need to take this, this, and this here. So it's like I'm gonna have to retake the same thing again. Like, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, why?
You know, it's like why like I don't know, it's an accredited union, like accredited school. So like I don't know why you wouldn't take this or why I would even have to fight it. So that was
No, you're fine.
That was really weird.
Yeah, it's not like you just took it from some online boot site.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't take it on Trump University. Like, it's accredited.
They might have taken the Trump University
They probably would have.
But yeah, you would think that there would be some sort of standardization across the board.
I feel like there's standardizations for like everything.
Mm-hmm. Not education.
But not education. No,
yeah.
No.
That's been the biggest wake up call for me, is that you can go to one school, major in something, and learn completely different skills than if you went to a different school and majored in the same thing.
Exactly.
Which, what?
So
no
weird.
wonder the world's a mess right now. We're all learning different things.
We don't even know what's going on.
Kanye 2020. Did you hear about that?
I did hear about that.
Whew.
My roommate was like, I'm going to vote for him. I was like,
for Kanye? Oh, man.
I was like, I'm not even going to get started with you in this. But yeah, that's crazy. It's just like to treat our politics like even more like a joke. Like,
yeah, I mean, we've already got Trump for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
He was like, what's another joke?
Mm-hmm. I can't believe he's actually running.
Yeah, I can't believe that either.
I saw that and I was like, there's no way this is real. I went to like 4 different sites and I was like, are you
Is he running as a Republican or independent?
That I don't know.
See, that would be interesting to me, because I think obviously like he's gonna pull from both sides, but we'll see what it does.
I think he will get more Democrats.
Yeah, I think so too.
For sure.
People are hurt because I think that's what happened with Hillary too, like where it was like, people were really upset. She still won the popular vote. But...
Mm-hmm. Come on, what do we do? I don't think it'll ever be the same.
No, I remember when Trump got elected too. Like I was literally like watching it on my phone. I was like, oh my God. Oh my, like,
it's happening.
Oh my God, it's happening. And then I called one of my friends and I was like, this man is our president. We literally have like a sex offender as our president. Like, I don't know. It's insane.
Is that are you referring to like the child?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Well, no, not the child. He has like, there's like he's like sexually assaulted multiple women.
Oh yeah, that, yeah.
Like.
Yeah. There's also one going around that he molested like a 13-year-old girl or something.
I believe that. I'm sure some crazy, but Joe Biden is no saint either. So.
Good point.
They just all are dirty and crooked.
And I don't think, I've said this multiple times, but I don't think Biden is all there.
No, I don't think so either. Have you listened to like his interviews?
I can't even make it through a speech of his, because it's like, you don't even know where you are. Like, what am I listening to?
He's so out of it every single time. Yeah, that's going to be really interesting.
But now I don't know. I thought for sure Trump would beat Biden. But now with Kanye in the mix.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't think it'll ever be the same.
I don't think so.
After Trump, I don't think. I mean, this is. Look at who we've got for president.
I know.
And then look at our options now.
Yeah, you're right.
Like what, we're going to get another Obama in 2024? Like that's what's going to happen? No.
Yeah, and I think like the COVID, like I always think of like, I've been thinking like, okay, after COVID, but like, I think it's going to be a while for, like we're living it. Like this is our reality now. And so I think it's like, I don't think there is going to be a norm to get back to. Yeah, it's the same. I'm sure it's the same with, the Trump election too. It's like, it's such a joke. Like, I don't even know.
It is. It's just a ratings hit now.
It is. It's
like, we're not even talking politics. We're just.
And he just like shoots out the most like outrageous, like insane things. Like,
yeah, it would be so funny if it wasn't coming from the president.
It would
You'd
be so
laughing
funny.
Like, oh my God, this guy's insane. But
you're
it's the
still
president.
laughing, but there's pain in your heart.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit because you're like, oh, that's my
like,
president.
Oh God, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's not handled anything particularly well.
Nothing, not a single thing. Yeah, no, we have like we're like the epicenter for coronavirus now. We have, just an insane amount of stuff going on, and he's like said nothing except like when the looting starts, the shooting
took a picture with the Bible. Come on, he did his part.
He was like, he literally looked like it was burning him. He was like,
and then he held it up, and it was upside down, wasn't it? In the picture, he held it up upside down. He can really do. I'm convinced that he can do anything, and people are still gonna just be like, "Yeah, that's my president."
So weird, so weird. Oh my gosh.
What do you think of Corona? Are you worried about it? Are you freaking out? Do you think it's not as bad?
Right when it started, it was really hard because I hate when my schedules like change, you know, and I think we all are like, we're all like really invested in our lives.
Creatures of habit.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, once things kind of started falling apart, I was like, this sucks. Like, I hate this. You know, like I want to be playing rugby. I want to be, cause we had 2 games left. We missed out on both of our games. That was really sad. So that happened and that was a bummer, but you know, I'm like, you just have to live your life. You have to be safe. And you know, like, I don't think it's like that much to ask for to put on a mask to go into a store. Like, at least we can go into the store. You know, we could be like where it was before where we couldn't even go anywhere. So like, I don't mind it now. It definitely was an adjustment. I do have, but yeah.
The mask thing is weird.
The mask thing is
because
weird.
Some people get really upset
They do.
at others for not wearing a mask.
Oh, yeah.
And then those people are like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Why do we all have to wear a mask?
I work at Ramones. And so like the policy since this whole thing started was like, you need to wear a mask in the bakery. Like, that's just what you need to do. Like, wear a mask when you come in. It's not that hard. So we get customers like just refusing. And so it's always a pain. And, you know, like, I think it's been kind of fun because like being in the service industry, you can't tell the customers no, but I'm like, put on a mask or leave.
Yeah.
Period. Like, get out.
You got some power.
Exactly. So that's really nice being able to kick people out. But it is a pain. It's like, okay, like, I don't want to deal with this either. Like, this is just the rules. Like, if you want us to stay open, we literally will get our license taken if you're not. So just do it.
What do you do?
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's just a pain. I don't even know why it's like an issue, to be honest. Like, just put on a mask and do your thing. It's really not
I don't know why people fight the mask thing so much.
I don't get it. Like, I get like maybe like it might be a little bit intrusive for, you know, somebody to track wherever you've been. Whatever, I get that. You know, but still, like, I would like to keep other people safe. Like, if this is killing people, then wouldn't you want to do like everything in your power to protect like the vulnerable population? You know, I guess that's my argument.
Yeah, I don't think most people are like that though.
No.
They are to an extent, right?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't affect them.
Oh yeah.
And they could do so, but I mean, most people don't even wash their hands.
No, I know.
Like,
the people are gross. Like, just like working like firsthand, and like this whole time I've been working with customers. I'm like, you guys are gross.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are nasty.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
It's definitely a challenge. And like, you know, you can't tell what, you know, I don't want to tell you what to do, you know, and I know that like, if I got it, I would be fine. But like, I would be worried if I was like in my 60s, or if I was like, I had an autoimmune disorder. Like, I would be worried because people really like, especially here, are like not taking it seriously at all.
Yeah, especially if you go to like Trinidad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, especially if you're not wearing a mask in Trinidad.
Yeah, they like boycott it. Yeah. And then I was in Chico with visiting my sister because she lives out in Chico. They don't wear masks. Like, none of them do.
I don't think they wear them in Reading either.
Yeah, no.
What are you going to do?
What are you gonna
Part
do?
of me thinks we just need to open it up. Just cut the ties, let everyone go out, let them not wear a mask if they don't want to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Just let people get back to life.
I think, like, I agree that, like, life should start getting back to normal, and we should start, like, you know, like, there's only so much, like, we can stop, but, like, we should do everything we can in a mask, you know? Like, I think that, like, it's been proven that, like, if 2 people are, like, wearing masks, it's way less likely for, you know, anybody to get sick. But yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, if it only affected, you know, if it was only affecting you wearing a mask, like, if you were gonna get sick wearing a mask, but I think it's, like, if you wear a mask, you're protecting other people rather than, like, protecting yourself. So I just think, like, sometimes people are so selfish and, like, not willing to, like, it's so uncomfortable. Like, I have to wear it for 6 hours a day. You know, like, I don't get to take it off.
Yeah.
I can't touch it. I'm in misery. I hate wearing it, but, you know, like, I'm going to do it. I don't want to get my customers sick. You know, I have my regulars who are older, and I really, really, really don't want to get them sick. So that's definitely, like, a challenge. Like, and seeing people just be, like, so blatantly not caring. Like, well, I don't know anybody who's died from it. Well, like, what if I did? You know, like, what if somebody really close to me died from it? So, like, that I have an issue with sometimes. But I don't know.
I think some of it stems from people like power, right?
Yeah.
And so if you give someone the power to be like, hey, you have to put your mask on.
Yeah.
I think they like that a little bit.
Yeah.
And then everyone wants to hold on to that because they can enforce something.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's weird because if you go to like Japan, they all wear masks.
Yeah.
Or they wear masks if they're sick.
Yeah.
But we don't have that here. That's just not part of our culture.
Yeah. I was listening to this podcast and it was like in China where like this whole thing started. They wear masks. They get their temperature taken like any business they walk into. And then they also have like some sort of chip or device that literally tracks them, like where they've been. And it flashes green if they're good. I think it flashes red if they've been into like a hot spot. And it flashes like yellow if they traveled out of the country or traveled anywhere. So that, like, I do like understand. I think like, you know, the United States is like very like our rhetoric is very like my business, you know, like very, you know, they don't
self-centered.
Yeah, self-centered and private and you know. So I get that, and I don't think I wouldn't love to have somebody checking like literally where I would go, but like I don't know, they're like willing to sacrifice their personal liberty to like protect the population of people.
Well, they don't have a choice.
And they don't have a choice either. But I was listening to this podcast and she was saying that like people in China aren't super, super like against it. They're just like, you know what, this is what it is, you know, like, you know, this is just life. So I thought that was really interesting.
Jesus.
Yeah.
China freaks me out.
Yeah.
When you hear about what happens, especially with the Hong Kong situation now. Have you heard about that?
I haven't.
So the lease, right, or whatever it's technically called, that you know, the UK had on Hong Kong, right, or that they gave back to China, it's up. So China can effectively do whatever they want. The charter's gone or something. Whatever they want to do with Hong Kong, they can. So they're moving in to pull back on a lot of the freedoms that Hong Kong had because it was a little more liberal, a little more democratic than the rest of China.
Yeah.
And so they are cracking down.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're moving in. They're hauling people out.
Yeah.
They're ghosting people.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out.
Yeah. Definitely, I think like growing up, we like, you know, like we've been in this culture where like we have, you know, personal liberty and we have personal freedom and the government doesn't have like a lot to do with our day-to-day lives, you know. So yeah, it is definitely really weird to think like, okay, like they're gonna like crack down on all this stuff. Like I don't know how people there feel about it, you know, like are they uncomfortable like having people, you know, having the government so involved like in their day-to-day life? Like is it like an infringement upon their rights, do they feel, or do they feel like this is just what life is as a community member in China? Like I don't know. Who knows?
Well, yeah, if you figure that's what you've known from the jump, that's all. This is just what life is, right? The government can do whatever they want whenever they want.
Yeah.
But what scares me is that people don't think that can happen here.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and like to a certain extent, we are so bound in like we need to make money to live and to survive that we have like a lot of, you know, maybe like we aren't controlled like from like very minutely, but we are kind of in a weird way. Like we have to work to make money and like we can only work so much to gain so much, and minimum wage only, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like we're kind of bound like in a capitalistic way. Whereas like, you know, other countries are, I have no idea, but you know what I mean? Like there's like, you have to like it's kind of control, like it's controlling of like what you can do. Like student loans are so expensive and I don't know. It's just pretty crazy. It's like weird.
What are you more in favor of, like socialistic?
I definitely think that like everybody has a right to like healthcare and stuff. That would be really nice. I think that would be like a great addition.
Which
to
is
our
crazy
life.
that's considered a radical idea.
I know. I remember I was in Europe. I was visiting England and I was it was so like kind of random but perfect. My Tessa's roommate from Santa Cruz is like a dual citizen from here and Britain. And
wow.
So she like just happened to be there when we were there because we were in London. And she was like, do you want to come to my family home? And we were like, yeah, like that would be awesome. Like it would be so cool to like see like some authenticity. Like that would be really cool. So we went and they were talking, like they were asking us a bunch of questions because we were from America. And they were like, so like, what do you feel about like private healthcare? We're like, it sucks. Like it sucks to see doctors. Like it sucks to see all that. And they were like, we could not imagine a life without like universal healthcare because it's just so easy. Like you just go to the doctor when you need to go to the doctor and it's paid for, you know, like it's just so easy. And so like I think that like hearing that from them was really like kind of like eye-opening because like I don't think their economy is any less for it, you know. So I think that was really, really interesting. But yeah, coming back here, yeah, like getting into a doctor's appointment is challenging, and then getting a doctor can be challenging, and then paying for anything if you don't have insurance is challenging.
Crippling.
It's crippling. Yeah. I mean, I think I was seeing a therapist, and like even so, like that's not considered like a necessary thing for my insurance. So like I had to pay.
Oh, so it's not covered?
No, it's not covered. So you have to pay like a copay every single time you see like a therapist. So it's like weird things like that. Like it doesn't seem fair that like I would have to pay like for my mental health. But you do. Like, you have to pay out the ass for it, so.
I went, oh, man. It might have been a year ago now. I had, like, an infection in my throat. Like, not tonsils, but some throat infection or I don't even know how I got it. And so I went to urgent care. I think it started when I was here. I went to urgent care, right? Or I might have gone to the ER first. No, I think I went to urgent care. Waited hours, got in. They were like, oh, it's nothing. Here's some antibiotics. Take it for a week, blah, 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 blah. Took it, had it for like 4 months. And it got so bad, like I wouldn't be able to talk at certain points. And I kept going back. I went to the ER like 6 times. I went to urgent care like 6 times, both here and down in Sacramento. And each time they'd give me medication and I'd see the charges and thank God we had insurance because by the time it was all said and done, it was thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And it ended up being the duration that they gave me the antibiotics for wasn't long enough. Oh, it was like a week and I needed 2 weeks.
Oh my.
So I had to go.
Simple fix,
I had to go see an ear, nose, throat doctor. Which was crazy expensive just to go see him. And he spent 30 seconds talking to me and he was like, yeah, you didn't take this for long enough. And I was like,
that was it.
That was it. Yeah. Like literally waited a couple hours to get into him. 30 seconds after talking to him, he's like, yeah, you didn't take the meds for long enough. I was like, but they prescribed me a week. And he's like, yeah, you need 2 weeks. Yeah. Which I couldn't imagine if I didn't have insurance for that because I wouldn't have been able to afford that.
No.
Or just cut my throat out. Or died. I don't know what I would have done.
No, I know. It's insane. Like, I think I was watching a John Oliver and it was like, he played like a clip of this woman who was literally like choosing between medicines she was going to pay for. She was like, okay, well, I need my insulin. So I guess like I just won't take my my cholesterol medication. Like, how do you think, like, how do you choose between two things that are really important to like continue your life, but you just can't afford it. Like you just simply cannot afford it. That's really crazy to me. For sure. And then I think it's funny because I think the United States like solution to not having insurance is like, oh, well, you don't have a good job. Like you don't have a full-time job. Which is kind of crap because minimum wage jobs aren't going to hire you full-time. So they'll hire you for like 39.9 hours, but that's not full-time. So they don't have to pay full-time benefits. Which is like, I understand it's expensive and it sucks, but like that's literally like life or death for people. You know what I mean? Like that's literally choosing between insulin or their, cholesterol meds. So that sucks. I think that's like a really big bummer. And I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I've tried talking to people that are like older than us about it, right? And the recurring theme is that insurance has always been private. It's always going to be private. Like, we can't change that, so don't even try. And it's like, well, nobody's tried to change it, so how do we know if it would work, right?
Exactly. For sure. Yeah, I know. I think before, like, when our parents were growing up, like, you could get a job at a grocery store full-time, and then they would pay your insurance, and you would be fine. Like, it was a living...
for college doing that.
Yeah, you could. Like, it was, like, a living wage, but, like, things have just gotten so insane, like, increasingly. So I think, like, I don't know, like, it's kind of unrealistic to say, like, if you can't get a full-time job, like, does that mean that you, like, don't deserve healthcare for, like, you and your kids or whatever? Like, because the only reason why I have it is because my mom has a full-time job, and so does my dad. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I only have it because my mom works at the school.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
So then what?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to do now? I mean, I guess, like, you can pay the premiums or whatever for, like, you can personally get insurance, but it's expensive and you still have to pay out of pocket. And I don't know, it's definitely really confusing and flawed. And nobody's, like, wants to do anything about it.
Big pharma.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to go up against that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I think after Corona, I think more people are going to want to lean that way.
Oh, yeah.
Which sucks for Bernie because that was basically his whole platform.
His whole thing. I know.
But now, because with everyone getting sick and everyone being afraid of getting sick, I think more people are going to start looking at that as a possibility.
I hope so. Like, I hope that there's like a move to like, we need everybody to like be able to like just, just get affordable basic healthcare. Like,
just to be able to live.
Yeah, just be able to live. Like, like you should just be able to like live. I think that would solve a lot of our problems. I was in a sociology class at HSU, and her thing was like, okay, for us all to be like, for any sort of change, like for the population, for our culture, like everybody has to be at the same level. Like they have to be able to meet their basic needs, like food, water, shelter, healthcare, all that stuff. So like before I think we can like really go forward, we all kind of need to be on the same page, because like if you're working 2 jobs and trying to just feed your kids, like you're not going to be worried about anything else than just feeding your kids and working your 2 jobs and whatnot. So like once we can rise everybody to the same level, a lot more can get done and a lot more can change, I feel like, in my opinion.
Well, I feel like that's hard, especially now with everything that's going on, because so many people are not on the same page. And the world's burning right now because nobody can figure it out.
And like, it just feels like nobody wants to, especially like, I don't know. It feels like everybody's like, okay, well, this is it. Like, we're kind of like hung out to dry in a way, especially like people who can't work now. Like they're sort of hung out to dry. Like,
well, and the crazy thing is a lot of people who are on unemployment right now are making more money than they did when they were working. So why are they going to want to go back to work?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I got laid off of Ramones for like 2 months, and I made like way more in those like 2 months than I had ever made at Ramones.
Oh man.
So it was like, okay, like that's really eye-opening that they think that the government, like the state of California thinks that this is what we can survive off of, and it's twice as much as I normally make. That was really interesting. I do think that it's like the extra $600 is running out in July, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, what's gonna happen then?
Who knows? Yeah, you just go back to regular unemployment. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, the fact that they're just printing money like they are.
Oh yeah, they are. They're just. I think they're like. I think it was like an attempt to like keep the economy afloat. Like send that money back in. Which makes sense. Like I get that. And I definitely am not going to complain about my unemployment checks.
Yeah, right?
For sure. But no, it's really weird. Like, I mean, I don't know how, like, who could solve that problem? Like, how do you solve that problem? It's really like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, who even saw this problem coming?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
With Corona.
I know. And we definitely do see who is important, like our grocery store workers and our, public transportation, and just like the little things that we didn't even realize that we needed.
You know what's interesting though is a lot of those jobs are going to be the first ones to go.
Oh yeah.
Once tech starts really getting rolling.
Yeah.
That's grocery store workers. Come on. Yeah. They're going to have a robot doing that.
Yeah. And they kind of like already do. Like you do I would much rather do self-checkout than like.
Especially now. When I'm going to go talk to another person who has a mask on now. I'm going to go to the machine.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's interesting. But I think, that's just like an attempt to like streamline everything, because we're like so fascinated with like technology and like making everything like so much easier, I guess. Like it's
easier for who?
Exactly.
Is what it gets down to.
Yeah. And like cheaper, probably like cheaper in labor and whatnot. So that'll be interesting. Like it has already gotten like pretty crazy, like technology wise. For sure.
Yeah. I saw that Domino's they already have actually these little self-driving cars. It's like a foot or 2 feet high, and it's like maybe a foot or 2 feet wide. Has your pizza in it, keeps it warm, and it's only got like a mile radius from a couple stores. Yeah. But they're putting those out there.
Yep. That's interesting. Yeah,
the future.
I know. We're here.
I know. It's crazy because I can remember like having conversations like this back in high school about, especially politics and stuff, right? And you're not really invested. And then you get out and you see everything happening now. And you're like, oh, man.
Like, whoa.
Pursue, I should have paid attention, man. Come on.
That ass.
But I don't know. I don't think there will be a normal after this. I feel like it almost feels like there's not going to be anything after this with the way everything's going.
It doesn't. But I think like things are going to be changed. You know, like I think people are going to be really scared. Like definitely a large subset of the population is going to be really scared. Like I don't want to get sick after this, you know. And I think we're going to go through waves. Like we're going to go through spikes, and then we're going to drop again, and then we're going to open everything back up, and then everybody's going to get sick, and then we're going to close things, and then we're going to, you know, until we all get either sick or get a vaccine. So we're in this for the long haul, I feel like.
Have you heard the argument that this came from the lab in Wuhan?
I have, yes.
What do you think of that?
That's stupid.
You think it's stupid?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm starting to lean into it a little bit. I might be
Come
going down.
on, Nick.
I know. The internet's getting to me. There's some. The problem is I just don't know who to listen to anymore.
Yeah.
I've been going down some rabbit holes.
I think maybe if it was just in the United States, like say that it was just in the United States, like whatever. And like nowhere else was getting sick. But like I think it's like a bit much that every single country in the world is like getting sick and shutting down and doing their part just for, I don't even for what. Like I don't know what for, but
them shutting down.
Yeah, like what is it like? I have the only like conspiracy theory really that I've heard is like that China like created the virus and then they like spread it everywhere.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
That's what I heard.
Oh no, I just heard that they were studying it, right? So they created it to
they
study.
created
Yeah,
and then it got out. See, I haven't.
Then it got out. Yeah. I don't know if I would believe that they just started spreading it.
That's what I heard. I was wild. Like, that this is silly. Like, why would they do that?
Okay, I get that one.
Yeah, no, my roommate. Yeah, one of my roommate was telling me about it. And I was like, that's stupid. Like, come on.
Yeah, but no, the one where it just accidentally got out.
Yeah.
It's getting to me a little bit.
That one's a little bit less crackpot. I will see that one.
Well, there's these weird studies that they've been doing where the virus, it has a harder time spreading out in the open, which is weird if you think of a virus that originated out in the open.
Yeah.
Right? It spreads better in buildings and in close proximities, you know? It also is affected by actual sunlight, you know?
Yeah.
Like that kills it,
Yeah.
which is odd. Like there's just weird things that have been coming out about it that's like, okay, well,
like, whoa.
I could see that. But imagine if it was, right? Like, people are trying to get petitions for us to sue China. Have you seen that? That's crazy.
I have not seen
We're going to sue China
for what?
Creating this? Yeah. I think people are just freaked out and scared and they're trying to find something.
Oh, yeah. I think we all need like an explanation, like, you know, when like something unexplainable or like unexplainable to our like knowledge. You know, I'm not a microbiologist. I have no idea what's going on. They must be having a field day though.
I bet.
I should have paid attention to microbiology.
Have you seen the Jeffrey Epstein doc?
Yeah, I
on
did.
Netflix? Oh, what did you think?
I thought that it was terrifying, of course, because like literally 2 of our presidents had been there to his little island. I thought that was like disgusting and so horrible. I also think that they could have like dragged him more and dragged his like colleagues more, but they didn't, which was kind of a bummer. No, I thought it was like really interesting and very eye-opening.
It's crazy to think that is just as prominent as it was and still is.
Yeah.
They just got Ghislaine Maxwell. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
I was joking around with a buddy. I was like, how long do you think before they ghost her? Like, what is she going to make it a week?
Yeah.
And then she's just going to commit suicide?
I saw this meme. It was like Hillary Clinton and she was wearing like a like they like edited a mustache on her and it was like, what is her name? Ghislaine or whatever. Her new security guard at the police.
Oh my God.
I was like, yep, sounds about right.
If they get her, come on.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much more she's gonna say. Like Bill Clinton was there, so like, what are they worried about?
She has the tapes.
Oh,
because you know how everyone was like, "Where are all the tapes of Epstein? He recorded everything, right? The island was wired, his house was wired. Where are the tapes? Supposedly, she's got a lot of tapes.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. I don't think she's gonna make it.
Yeah, probably not. Like just like the amount of like the sheer power of people that she's dealing with, like.
Especially the Clintons.
Oh, yeah.
They've got a history of people just happening to die around them.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people. Oddly enough, just freak car accidents. Just getting people.
Nice.
Yeah, that seems to be their big MO.
Nice.
But yeah, if you talk to any conspiracy theorists, they're like, oh, the Clintons are bad news.
Yeah. I can buy into that. Yeah. that doesn't shock me.
I feel like I just don't know enough about it.
I
just
don't-
got
yeah.
into the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
And that's a wormhole enough.
Yeah, I remember when like the memes were like surfacing. I was like, what are they talking about? And I never like, I think I was like I was like in school and I was like not worried about it. So I was like, who knows? But yeah, now and I'm like looking back, I'm like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. The whole sex trafficking thing is scary, especially
really
down south.
Yeah.
Like you see it, it's on buses, it's on billboards. Yeah. And you just don't realize how prominent it is.
Yeah. And I think it's also something that we think of like, oh, like that would happen to somebody else, not me.
Yeah.
You know? And so like hearing the girls talk about it, like, and share their experience, like they were just vulnerable for some reason. And Jeffrey Epstein, like, totally preyed on that, you know?
Took advantage of it.
And who, like, what 16-year-old girl, like, really is going to know? You know, like, you're offering these girls what they need. Like, why are they going to say no? You know, you don't have that capacity to be like, this is not safe.
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting, and how, like, I think a lot of the times when we see something that, like, makes us uncomfortable or thinks like, oh, like that's gonna happen to them, like this has nothing to do with me, and so like how close to home it can actually hit is really interesting to me.
It seems like a lot of it is that power dynamic too, of like, oh, this person's an adult and they're doing this.
Oh yeah.
Well, what do I say?
Yeah.
Because they're an adult.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they know what they're doing, so what? Maybe I should just not say anything.
I know. Yeah. Definitely. Because, like, yeah, looking back, like, if an adult had, like, told me to do something or, you know, whatever, like, I can't say that I would be, like, not prey to it. I was stupid. Like, I had no idea. You know?
And the fact that some of those girls brought other girls.
Yeah, that's crazy. That was really sad.
Yeah.
The one girl that was saying that, like, she had a lot of, like, guilt for bringing other girls with her.
And then they just leave them in the room.
Yeah.
It's like,
and she just left her. I was like, oh my gosh.
The lotion's over on the table.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you have to undress to give them a massage.
Yeah.
What?
I know. That was crazy. Yeah. Thinking that like, oh God, to be that age, bring one of your friends and like have them be like sexually assaulted, and then.
What do you say to them the next day of school?
Sorry.
Hey, my bad. I got a lot of money. I'll split it with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what? I wish they would have talked about that. Like what happened the next day.
Yeah. I think a lot of the times, like I think it's coming out more too. Like women don't necessarily know like that they're being sexually assaulted. I think like it kind of just happens, and you think, well, that's weird. You're like, oh, how strange, and then you just kind of move on. Like, what are you gonna do? Dwell? You know? You're like, oh, that sucked. Like, you know, I'm not bleeding, so what do I do? I'm just gonna move on. Like. So I think, like, you don't realize the, like, trauma that's happening in your head, and, like, you know, so you just kind of bear it and you just kind of move on.
Do you think it's more of it's coming out now because people are more open to listening about it, or more people are just willing to talk about it?
I don't know. I think, like, I think maybe a little bit, like, a bit of both, but also there's, like, I think social media plays a good part. Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, people are, like, I think victims are finally, like, I'm done being silent. Like, you know, like, upon further reflection, what happened to me is messed up. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just like bear my trauma anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to do something about it, which I think is really cool. Because like, I know, like, definitely as a woman, like we've all I think we've all been in situations where you're like, that was really fucking weird. Like, that's not normal. I don't know. It's really strange. So I think like there's definitely like a culture of like, we're going to air out what happened to us, and, you know, we're not going to hold on to our traumas anymore. I think that's
there's a lot of good that comes with that.
Yeah, I think so.
It seems weird because it seems like that's the mentality of everything that's going on.
Yeah,
is we're going to air everything out.
Yeah.
We're going to put it all on the table.
Yeah.
Everything bad, everything not good. Yeah. We're just going to put it all out there.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think like thinking as like a woman, like, I couldn't report, like, a sexual assault. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be comfortable reporting, like, sexual assault to, like, the police officers. They wouldn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And, like, I just would get dragged, like, on Lost Coast Outpost. And, like, you just know what would happen. And so I think that, like, you kind of take the power back. Like, you're like, okay, well, this was a situation where I didn't have any power. This is how I'm going to get my power back, you know? So I think that's cool.
I wonder if that, like you said, comes from social media in the sense that, like, you have your own platform now.
Yeah, I think so. Like, that's what it seems like the Me Too movement was, like, kind of like a movement towards, like, I'm going to say what happened to me and I'm not going to keep it a secret anymore, because there's like a lot of shame I think that women carry. And I mean, any sexual assault survivor, like not necessarily just women, because like men can definitely experience sexual assault as well. So I think definitely like having that platform, like, yeah, to like reclaim your power is important.
Yeah, men definitely don't talk about that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it happens.
There was a comedian that did a joke about sexual assault with men, because there was some guy who like raped 50 men, and he was cracking a joke about it, and he's like, oh, I can't remember how the joke went, but it was something like, oh, if he raped 50 men and 50 men came forward and talked about it, he must have raped like 600,000 men, because what, 50 talked?
Yeah.
Like there must be millions of men that have been raped out there.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Well, that's just tricky territory to navigate.
It is tricky. Yeah, it is tricky. And I don't think it's definitely not like a gendered thing. Like I think, bad things happen to everyone. But yeah, I for some reason, women are definitely like more vocal about it. I don't know if it happens more often, or if it's like, we're just not as afraid to like, because there's not like a stigma against us, like being able, like, because I think in culture, like in our culture, it's like women are like, not as easily, like we can't protect ourselves as well, and we're not as strong, and yada, yada, yada. So like, it's like, I think like more, it's not like emasculating for us to be like, okay, well, this happened. And,
yeah. Yeah, if a guy gets...
Yeah, if a guy gets sexual assault. Yeah, like somebody, you can't like exactly come out. Yeah. So that's interesting.
It was weird noticing that like cancel culture, right? It kind of went away a little bit with Corona, and now it's
back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yes.
It came back. If it was at a 6 before, it's definitely at a 10 now. Like it's going to steamroll some people.
Oh yeah. And I think it already has. And I think there's like, I don't know. That's also like a tricky subject. It's like, okay, so how far are we going to go? And like, I think a lot of the times, you can learn from your mistakes, and what you do now is important. Like, if you own up to your mistakes and you're like, yeah, like that was racist, that was sexist, that was yada, 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 and you move on and you don't do that anymore, I think that you shouldn't be canceled. But I don't know. It's interesting. It's really interesting.
And there's timelines for that, right? It depends on what you do.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, if you rape somebody, that's for
like,
life.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you're getting forgiveness for that anytime soon.
No.
But if you rob a bank, what are we going to give you, like 3 years, and then everyone's over it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I think the worst thing about cancel culture is that we're not taking into account the growth for some people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Harvey Weinstein, that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
come on, let him
completely
rot.
cancel. Yeah, exactly.
But then there are people that going after
they went after
Terry
Jenna Marbles
Crews?
too.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard that name in years.
Yes, she's like done, like, because she was like that was like the YouTuber that I watched.
Jenna
like,
Marbles.
Yeah,
she was like the first really big YouTuber.
Yes. So they she had like videos of like like what girls think during sex. Like, you remember, like they were really funny, and they were just like, I think we were all really ignorant. That's just how we talked. And like, she was being attacked for like, claiming to like there's only like 2 genders, like she was like a very binary way of thinking about gender, which is okay, whatever. So she was being attacked for that, and then she like dressed up like Nicki Minaj, which is blackface. So she was like being attacked for that. But this had all happened like 10 years ago. And so recently she like just like made this video and was like, yeah, like I'm done. Like there's no more. Like I'm so sorry for everything that I've done. Like, and that I ever made you feel, that, bad or whatever. And so she said that she's done with YouTube, which is crazy.
Whoa.
They like chased her off. So that was interesting. And I feel like her content now is nothing like that. It's nothing about offending somebody. And I think in the past she didn't mean it to be like offensive. And she took down the Nicki Minaj video like the second that she had like was like, dude, you're doing blackface. And she was like, oh crap. Like, I need to take this down. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it just depends on, like, I think the internet really is like a scary, crazy, like, place. And when people see like thumbnails and they're like, oh my gosh, like she did blackface, you don't think about like, okay, well that was 10 years ago. Who knows what her intentions were, but like, I'm sure she wasn't trying to be like overtly racist, even if she covertly like was racist.
Mm-hmm.
So she took it down or whatever, and then she hasn't made content like that since. So I don't know. It's interesting.
I did not know they were gunning for her.
Yeah, they were, and they got her. She was like, okay, I'm done. You guys got me.
And see, everyone that they get, it's like, it's empowering to them. They're like, okay, let's move on to let's go to the next.
Like just trolling people. I don't know.
But that's the problem, right? If we keep judging people, because culture changes and what's acceptable changes. Obviously, some things aren't acceptable.
Period.
Ever. Yeah. But some things, it's a sign of the times, right? So are we going to judge everyone based on the current climate? Or are we going to judge the current climate against who they are currently?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think anyone's doing that.
No.
We're taking everything that's PC and right now.
Yeah.
And everyone better pass the test.
Yeah. Yep. And like you have to like you can't even no skeletons in your closet. You can't have any sort of like
anything.
None.
Yeah.
So that's, I think we're all like, at the end of the day, we're all human. And I think if you're like willing to be like, okay, I need to check my privilege here. Like, I'm a white person. Like, I don't understand like how that would make somebody of color feel, and if you move on from, saying something stupid, because I'm sure we all have, like, I was so ignorant.
And we're all
in high
going
school.
to.
Yeah, we all are going to, and I think back to like, just the things that I said in high school and the things that I did in high school, like, I'm like, that's so embarrassing. I can't believe I did that, And like, if somebody were to like put like a fine-tuned comb on my life, like I'd be canceled,
I think everyone would be canceled.
Oh, yeah.
So then what are we doing?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get is I would argue you could take, like you said, you could take a comb to anyone and cancel them. You're going to find stuff, especially when they're younger, because you don't know any better.
You don't know any better.
You're just saying wild stuff just to make your friends laugh
exactly.
half the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, are we going to go, like, how far back are we going to go?
Exactly.
And what's the line?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there is one.
No.
I think it's just, can we find something?
Yeah, can we find something? And, I mean, I think it's also like if I expose this person, then I'm going to get a platform.
Yes.
So,
it's like that virtue signaling of, oh man, if I go after them, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I'm not a piece of shit because I canceled that person.
Mm-hmm. And now everybody's going to know me and I'll get followers.
Everyone's going to see that I'm for the cause.
Yeah.
And I'm woke and all this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's really tricky. And I think I've definitely done like a lot of, I think just like the mixture of like being stuck at home and like just so much like the political climate right now is just so insane. Like I've done a lot of like retrospection, like, like I used to think like, I don't know, like I just thought that like saying the N-word was like okay, or like, I could sing it in songs and that was okay. And like it's ridiculous. Like I can't believe I thought that. I can't believe I did that. I was so ignorant and so stupid. And so I think it's hard. It's really hard for me to be like, yeah, I was wrong. Like in that situation when I did that, I was wrong. That was not right. And I think people are having like a really hard time just in general being like, yo, the way I was thinking was wrong. But like, yeah, no. And then there's like kind of both. Like, okay, like what I did, I know I did it wrong. But then there's people coming after you like, now you're canceled forever, which I think is ridiculous. Like as long as you lead life, I don't know, if you try and put your best foot forward, I think that you're fine. But
what do you think of the whole check your privilege thing?
I think again, it's like it's uncomfortable because like, like it's just like ways that we haven't been taught to think. I don't know. I think it's really powerful though. I think it's something that we should all do and all try. Because like I can only judge my surroundings by what I know, and what I've, experienced. So I only know things as a white woman, so I don't know. It's definitely like, I think it's uncomfortable for everybody and to be like, okay. And just like little things, like I know sometimes I get really uncomfortable when I'm speaking to somebody who doesn't speak the same language as me. Like I'm super uncomfortable. I'm like, why is that? Why am I uncomfortable right now? And so like, I'm like, you know what? Like, maybe that's not racist, but like that is some sort of like weird misunderstanding and it makes me uncomfortable. So I'm going to feel awkward. Like that's crap. Like, I'm not going to feel awkward. We're going to figure this out. We can use Google Translate. We have all the tools.
Well, I don't think that makes you racist, right?
No, it definitely doesn't. No, it definitely doesn't. But I think those are like the little microaggressions that like kind of like bar us from I don't know, like from being like accepting and whatever, because you're like scared. You like don't know what to do in that situation in a way. I guess for me, that's
I don't know. I'm so out of touch with
Yeah.
all of that. I was talking to Soraya Glasper.
Uh-huh.
I heard her on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about kind of the privilege thing, and I was like, I don't like the word privilege. I think everyone has privilege.
Yeah.
And she put it in a really good perspective in the sense that it's not so much like check your privilege. It's more like if you have a better spot in life, sometimes it's easier for you to help others if you recognize, hey, look where I'm at.
Yeah.
They're clearly not where I'm at. Maybe I could help them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better perspective. But then you get into the microaggressions thing, and I'm like,
it's crazy.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know.
I think there's like a lot, and it's like, it's okay not to know. Like it's like fully okay not to know. But like it is important for you to like try and educate yourself, like, and I think it's important that we like have these conversations and like, I know it's super uncomfortable. Like we've all been there. Like, and I look back on my life, I'm like, yeah, maybe I wasn't like trying to be racist, and maybe I wasn't racist, but it definitely was like a microaggression. Like I definitely, wasn't right in that certain situation.
What is a microaggression?
Just like a small, like sort of jab that happens. So like little things like that happen to women, like, because this is what I can talk about, like, with surety. You'll say something like, say you say something in a class and, you're like, okay, well, I think that the answer is 32. Sometimes like men will like kind of like sidestep you and you're like, okay, well, actually it's this, da 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 da. So like just the kind of way like men will speak to me. I've also felt like, oh, well, that I'm an idiot. How did I not know that? So like there's that. So like just like a bunch of little things like piling up on each other. So a really good example of a microaggression for like Black people is when there's a Black man walking on the side of the road and you cross the street. You weren't being you weren't being overtly racist. Like you weren't like calling the cops on them, yada, yada, yada. But you were still like, I'm really scared of this person. I'm going to cross the street. And so like, I mean, I think I would feel like if I was walking down the street and somebody saw me, got scared and crossed the street, like I would feel bad. Like that would make me feel bad about myself. So just like little things like that we don't really realize we're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks everyone is, I don't know. There's so many ways to go with all that.
We all are. And I think we're raised in a culture and I think we forget that like we take it so personal, but like this is societal. Like this is a societal thing that we have to work on and change and fix. And, so like it is going to feel like, yeah, like I'm in the wrong, but it's like, like it is okay to understand like, yeah, this is what I learned. And it's hard to unlearn things that you've always learned, like it's definitely hard to like kind of break from what you're used to or whatever, and to think about things different. So I understand. I definitely understand. I don't think anybody's like, I don't think genuine people are bad or racist or whatever, but I definitely think that we can all look at our lives and, maybe not check our privilege, but see like, okay, like, yeah, I had a really easy time. Like I can give an example with my brother. Like he got hired like so quick. Like he got a full-time job. Like he got 35 hours. Like he looked for like 2 weeks. It took me like a whole summer to find a job here. And I can only apply to so I applied to like service industries and, that stuff. So it's like Grant just is going to lead an easier life because he's a male than I am.
Where did he apply to?
He applied to Pearson's, and they were like, "You're great."
Pearson's.
He walked in with his like Carhartt pants, and they were like,
hired him
perfect.
on the spot. Yeah, this is just who we were looking for.
Which is like, it's like it's all our burden to bear, and I'm not going to complain about anything. I'm so happy where I am in my life, and like the struggles have made me who I am. But I definitely, I applied to so many places, and I just got like no callback, and then Grant got hired. Like that.
You think that's like a sex thing?
Yes and no. Like I don't want to say that like you can't ever prove anything, like that. That's too hard to like, you can't be like, well, this is because of that. But I do think we live in a patriarchy, and so like white men are just gonna have it, like just gonna go through life a different way than say like a person of color who's a woman. I don't know. Like it's definitely different, I think. And I don't think you understand the difference. Like it's taken me a long time to like understand the difference for like somebody of color. Like I would get pulled over. Like, yeah, I'm pissed off and like mad that I'm being pulled over, but I'm not scared for my life. You know, so just like the little things like that. Like we'll never know and we'll never understand. But I think it's important to like at least try to understand it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard because, yes, people should try to understand other perspectives, you know. But I think a problem is that we're veering like too much one way, you know what I mean? Instead of people taking the approach of, yeah, life sucks. Sometimes life is hard.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not always going to be where I want to be or get where I want to be. But instead of taking that and like looking inward and being like, oh, it's because they perceive this about me or because this, maybe it has nothing to do with that. Like one of the things doing this podcast and everything, I joined some podcast groups on Facebook because I was like, oh, this will be a great idea. It's rough. These people are all over the place. But a recurring theme is these people just start their podcast. They're a week into it and they're not getting
any views.
Yeah, nobody's watching because there's millions of podcasts out there already.
Yeah.
But they instantly go, oh, it's because I'm Latino.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to listen to a Mexican talk about life.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, could be.
Yeah.
There is a valid point. That could be. Or
it could just be your content.
Yeah, maybe your podcast just sucks.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something you need to hear and then you can make it better. Yeah. Like maybe you should be looking inward of, oh, what could I be doing differently instead of externally?
Yeah.
Which obviously is situational because some things are.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard today because everyone wants to make it
about somebody else.
Yeah. Like, oh, you need to accept that this is how it is. Otherwise, we can't fix anything. And it's like, or like, why are you trying to change other people's perceptions of everything instead of just maybe growing yours?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard. It's definitely like, I think introspective work is really challenging. And it's definitely really easy to blame it on everything else and everyone else. Like, it's really hard and uncomfortable to be like, okay, maybe it's because of me. Like, maybe I'm the problem.
Nobody wants to look at that.
Nobody wants to say like, yo, like, this is my fault.
Yeah.
Like, and I definitely don't think that like, you know, it's for various reasons why it took me forever to get hired. But I do think that if I applied to Pearson's and Grant applied to Pearson's, he would get hired before I would. You know, and I don't know, for some reason, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, but like just little things like that, which is, you know, like you can't, it's all situational and you can't like say that this is because I'm a woman. You know, you can't, of course you can't say that. You know, like if you're a terrible applicant, it doesn't matter if you're
if you show up high, like they're not going to hire you regardless.
Yeah, no. So it has nothing to do with that. I think that we do have preconceived ideas of people before we meet them. Like, and I even think like working with special needs kids, like I had a really big preconceived idea of what a special needs person was. And like I work with them, they're people.
Yeah.
So like I think like instead of like, I don't know, it's hard. It's definitely hard to like, it's hard to break your stereotypes. It really is. It's hard to break like that preconceived idea you have of somebody or like of some situation sometimes. And you don't even realize you're doing it. Cause like I walked into school like, how am I going to do this? Like I can't work with these kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally fine. They're kids.
Piece of cake.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just because I love the work. And it could also, you know, it's hard and confusing. Like who knows the right answer? But I think if you're actively trying to do something about it, then like you can be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
Do you think that we'll ever break through all those stereotypes?
No.
I don't see those ever going away.
I mean, I think to live, we need to put people in boxes and we need to put things in boxes and we need to categorize things. Like that's just how our brains work. And so I do believe that we have like a certain like stereotype that we make of everybody, but stereotypes aren't necessarily a bad thing. So they can be, you know, they just are that preconceived cultural idea of a certain thing. So like, you know, fast food is bad for you, or, you know, what's like a good stereotype. There's a ton, you know? So, I mean, I don't think that like you're always going to have an idea of something before you get to it. That's just the way things are. We absorb, especially now that we're like taking in so much media and like, there's just like a lot of information flowing and it just kind of shapes the way you think. I don't think we're ever going to break them down, but we can also change our stereotypes. So like women used to only wear dresses and this and that and the other. And so that was like the norm or whatever, but you can change that and you can fight it. And, you know, like the more the more it changes, the more the stereotype changes. So it's like you can always change things for the better, you know, even if people are going to categorize you no matter what. So I just think it's like, I think it's a part of our all jobs, just like question like, okay, why did I think that? You know, it's okay that I thought that. It's okay that I was, you know, scared in this situation, but did I have a real reason to be? Or, you know, was that legitimate? Or is it just because I watched this show and it just tells me this, you know, or my parents talk about people this way and that's how I'm going to act towards this certain subset of people, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some of that just comes with maturity.
Oh, yeah.
Growing older.
Definitely. And like the willingness to do it. Cause I completely understand that like not everybody's going to do that. And not everybody's going to be like, not everybody's going to think about like, dang, my life's really hard. And like, I understand that argument. Like, yeah, your life, it can be really hard, but like, it doesn't have anything to do with like the color of your skin or your gender.
I hear that a lot with the gender thing is like, man, I've got so much going on. I don't need to learn about the 70 something genders that are out there. Like how does that affect me?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it affects you if you're, you know, I don't know. It's hard. That's challenging.
Yeah, I don't think that one's weird because I don't think it affects you at all.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Right?
And like, I have no problem, like, you know, if you are non-binary, so like, all you have to do is refer to them as they, them. Like, you know, it's like, it's awkward and uncomfortable, but like, if you're, you know, if you're trying to like be informed and educated about it, and do your best to like use the correct pronouns, like I think that's fine, you know, like, and they'll tell you like, and if you're ever like questioning somebody's like gender, just don't use she, he pronouns. Just be like, hey, excuse me, person in the yellow shirt, instead of like, hey, sir in the yellow shirt. Like, so it's just like stuff like that, like easy fixes, you know, because like I know playing on the rugby team, there's like a lot of girls who have like really short hair and like, you know, dress in men's clothes. And so they often get misgendered. And it's like, you know, it's like, whatever. Like, they're not going to go home and cry about it. But it's like, it's also like, okay, like you could have just been like, hey, person in the red shirt. So like, that's just like the little things that like people could do to like change the narrative. Cause like not all women have to have long hair to be a woman, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the approach, that their response in that situation is probably the best one you could have, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to get misgendered occasionally. Yeah. So you could either get mad about that or just be like, okay.
Brush it off. Yeah. And it's not going to I think people think that like, if they misgender somebody or if they don't understand that like that person is going to come after them. It's like, probably not. Like it probably happens all the time. Yeah.
Which is why I think people are a little, you know,
everybody's like triggered
on edge.
Yeah.
Yes, because you see people like if on Twitter, I know I brought this up before too. On Twitter, if you dead name someone, you can get banned.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know or like have never actually talked to the person, if you refer to them even as like a he and they're a she, you're off Twitter.
Yeah.
Which, come on. That's going back to what I was talking about earlier. That's more like those feel-good politics where we just want people to, we're trying to change everything to make us feel better instead of accepting, hey, not everyone's a good person.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just, shit's going to hit the fan.
Yeah. I do understand. The only way that I would understand that is like if they were purposely misgendering, like that you could tell that like they had long hair and they were wearing a pink dress and you're like, he looks like a he still. So like I could understand that. But like, yeah, like you said, like, okay, like, you know, if I had short hair and somebody was like, hey, sir, do you mind da 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 da? Like you'd be like, oh, you'd turn around and it would be very clear that you were not a sir, you know, just like things like that. And you'd be like, hey, sorry, like it's actually ma'am or whatever. Just let it slide. You know, it really, I think isn't that serious. And we like are so worried about being politically correct sometimes that like, I think it helps and it hurts. Like people are so not worried about it that it like, and then some people are really worried about it that it's like sometimes it leaves the middle feeling really like kind of confused.
Yeah, because you've got them fighting on either side.
Yeah.
And if you're in the middle, you're like, gee, I don't want to get mixed up in that. So I'm just going to hang back a little bit.
Exactly. I don't know. It's definitely like, that's definitely a challenge for sure. Like and it's uncomfortable. Like it's not fun to be called out, you know?
No, it's not fun to look at yourself and be like, man, I gotta figure some things out.
Yeah, it's not at all. So I don't know. I think that's why that there can be some pushback towards like figuring out the different genders. And honestly, it's like, you know, you look it up on Google and it's like, you know, like if you say like somebody's like, oh, I'm asexual, you're like, okay, and you look it up on Google later.
I don't even know what that means. There's a ton.
There's a ton, yeah. So like asexual is like you don't have sexual attraction to like men or women, but you can still be in a relationship. Like you still have like romantic feelings. You just don't have sexual feelings.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, people.
Yep. Bada
Then there's
bing,
like
bada boom.
Pansexual. There's
pansexual. I think is
those
like
are the only two I've heard.
Pansexual is like,
or know off the top of my head.
Yeah, is like you're attracted to like people's personalities. So like male or female, it doesn't matter. Like you really like their personality, and so like your sexual like attraction or whatever follows like personal, like I don't know, I think it's like you like really like their personality or whatever, so it doesn't matter, like gender doesn't really matter.
So it's not based on gender.
No, it's like not based on gender. It's based on like who you are as a person.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there.
There's a lot out there.
What do you do?
Yeah.
I think people at the end of the day, and it feels weird saying this, but I think people need to develop a thicker skin to some extent.
Yeah.
In some situations.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I don't know, but like also like the flip side too. Like I think like, yeah, we all do. We all need to. But like I think sometimes people who are like, I definitely think that like people who are like, I don't know. I think like the asexual, pansexual thing, like I think like that's probably pretty inconsequential. Like you're not like, you don't like walk around like, yes, I am straight, or yes, I'm a lesbian. You know, like you don't do that.
Yeah.
Like you're only going to do that if you're like interested in a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I think sometimes like you just like, or you're going to avoid the topic if you know, like if you're talking to like a guy wearing an America shirt with a MAGA hat on, you're going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to tell him I'm asexual. Like, you're not going to be like, yeah, I'm attracted to, like, to develop a sexual attraction, I first need to, like, make an emotional connection.
You never
like,
know. He might be asexual, too.
Exactly. He might be like, whoa.
And asexuals can be Trump supporters. Exactly. It's possible.
Oh, God. Because women can be, women can be Trump supporters, so who knows?
Anything is possible.
Anything's possible. Yeah, no, that's hard. I think, yeah, I don't know. That's really challenging.
I get it from both sides.
Yeah,
I get it from the side of, hey, we need to progress this to include everybody. And then I get it from the other side of, hey, man, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot. How do we... And it doesn't seem like we have the attention span to deal with any of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got 500 different issues...
going on.
Everybody is adamant about.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I can't even keep up with 5.
Yeah.
Like, how do we... Where do we break?
Yeah, I get that. Definitely. I think that, like, I do have to say, though, that the more we talk about things, like, there is so much, but if we talk about, like, the things that matter, like race, sexuality, and, like, sexual, you know, like, if we start to, like, have this into our conversation, we're going to be more comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the more that you talk about something, the more that you're used to it. The more that you see something, the more that you're used to it. It's just, like, basic psychology. Like, the more you listen to a song, the more you like it. Like, the first time you hear a song, you're like, oh, okay, like, I could get into it. Like, the next 2 times, you're like, yeah.
And then you listen to it 1,000 times. You're like, whoa.
Exactly. And I also think, like, sometimes learning about different sexual identities can be, like, really empowering. You're like, whoa, I never knew. Like, I thought that I was just really messed up. Like, I thought that, like, something was wrong with me. When you're like, oh, that there's, like, an actual label. There's an actual subset of people that, like, feel the same way as I do. Like, oh, my gosh. So that, I think, is really empowering. Like, because we're so label oriented, we don't mean to. That's just how we live our lives. Like, we have to compartmentalize somehow because there's just so much. Like you said, it's just overwhelming. There's an overwhelming amount of crap that we have to deal with. So we compartmentalize it. And so, like, having, like, a name and a description and a group of people that you can, like, associate a certain thing with, I think is important. So, like, finding like, kind of your niche. You're like, oh, this is where I fit in. Like, these are the people that I fit in. I'm not weird. These feelings are normal, like, or whatever, or what have you. So,
yeah, that's a good way to put it, huh?
Yeah.
Just being able to identify with that.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, this is my crew.
You're like, well, like, I'm not weird for feeling like I couldn't, like, ever, you know, have, like, a sexual or whatever. Like, I don't want to be with this person because I hate their personality or whatever, or what have you. So,
I think talking about, especially stuff like that, because I personally have no experience with that. So then you talk about it and you're like, well, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think everyone's especially now everyone's so on edge to talk about anything.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I think like sometimes like I wonder like, okay, like should I be speaking out more about what I care about, or should I let the people that like this is affecting talk about it? You know what I mean? Like, so I have like a really hard time being like, okay, like am I going to get, because I think like as like a white ally, you have to like really like sometimes check yourself in a way. Like I feel like I have to like, I'm like at a really like, and like it's nowhere near the turmoil and stress that somebody of color probably feels. Like, you know, I cannot even begin to like sympathize. You know, I have no idea. Like I have no clue. But like I think I do agree with you. Like I have a problem like, okay, like what is too much and what is too little? Like, because I know I need to be vocal about this and I know I need to like express like my feelings against it, but like, you know, am I going too far if I like, you know?
What do you mean?
I think like I saw on social media like, oh, like if you're a white person you can't do the fist thing. If you're a white person you can't say certain chants. If you're a white person you shouldn't be speaking like at rallies and stuff. And so I was like,
don't you think some of that's just like retarded though at the end of the day? Like why are we not trying to bring as many people in to any movement and get them all speaking? Like why are we trying to exclude people and censor what they're saying at these, like some of that, like the hashtag white noise, block that. When I saw that I was like, okay, this is a joke at this point. Like what are we what's trying to be achieved here?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think that there's definitely obviously like you know, exclusivity isn't gonna like help you solve the problem. And I think we all need to be working together, especially if you're like, if you mean it, if you're in it, and if you're with it, like that you shouldn't be excluded from. And I really like at every protest that I've been to, I haven't felt like, oh, you're white, get out of here. You know, like I felt extremely like, you know, incorporated in everything. But I think like that's where like social media can become kind of toxic. Like I think, you know, gaining power back after feeling you haven't had it for a long time, I think people are like, well, great. Like, you know, you don't have a say in anything. Like, don't voice your opinion, whatever. And so I think that maybe that's where like the, like, if you're white, you can't do this, or that, because like they've been told their whole lives, you're black, so you can't do this, and that. So, I mean, I think it's maybe trying to like reclaim that power back. But I think like if you lead whatever you're doing with respect, and if you're not going to, like, if you're trying not to offend anybody, then I think that like you shouldn't be canceled and you shouldn't be like ridiculed. If you're with the cause and you're with the movement, I think most people agree with me, you know? I mean, I think that there's just really angry and upset people with the way things are going, you know?
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like exclusivity to fight, because that's obviously what they're fighting to some extent, is exclusivity.
Yeah.
And exactly. So why would you try to bring that?
Yeah, why would you try to be exclusive? Because it's like, it's hard, like to think like, okay, like, you know, what does equal mean? Like, does it mean we all have liberty? Like, we all have the same liberty? Like, so I talked about this in my English class a lot. We talked about liberty versus equality. So like liberty would be, so say like somebody in a wheelchair needs to get up, get into the library. So like they're not gonna like, and I guess like an equal thing would be to like everybody would have to like, you know, use like a ramp for them to get up. But like liberty would be like you have a way for wheelchairs to get in, and you have a way for, you know, that works for everybody. So I think like there's definitely like a difference between the two, like equality and liberty. Like, are we like, do we all get the same level stools, or did like one person who's not as tall get a little bit taller of a stool? Did one person who's shorter, you know, just, I don't know. Maybe equality is a challenging word because it's hard to think, but raising everybody to the same level, I think, is what's important.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird though. It is weird. I think really exclusivity weird. Definitely is not the key.
And then where do we? It's weird because there's a lot, like, because this door's already opened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think inclusivity should be where we're at, because we've got, you know, Chinese people who are way below where everyone's at. We've got Latinos that are way below. We've got African Americans that are way below. There's still
kids in cages, you know, at the wall, you know.
There are kids that are missing. I keep talking about that.
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's insanity. I don't know. I do think that the more we talk about it, like, I think that there's going to be things that come up and people are going to be really upset. And so I think people say things and kind of jump on that bandwagon and don't really realize what they're saying and doing. I think that they like probably don't think about it like that. But yeah, I think like we need to be like, we need to still air all this stuff. Like we still need justice for Vanessa. What is her last name?
Gillian.
Yeah, Ghislaine. Like
I do not know enough about that case. I know it was a sexual assault.
I think she like tried to like because like the military has like this weird way they like handle any sort of misconduct. Like it's like all internal. So she was going to file like a claim about like sexual, like she was being sexually assaulted, and she went to go speak out about it, and then she went missing. And literally like her mom, I think, was like, I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I think her mom was like, okay, where's my daughter? Like, where is my daughter? She's not calling me. Where is she? And the military base was like, we don't know. Just insane. And then they finally found her body.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's insane. So I think like, I don't know. There's just so much we're talking about, and it's hard. It's like I feel like every time I'm on social media, I'm like bombarded with like so many things, but I also don't want to stop. Like I also want the conversation to continue, because I think at a certain point it's gonna pan out. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna come to a conclusion. But I think that there needs to be like a level of upset before we can like, start. We need to make people like think about things before things can like start finding like a resolution,
Yes. Yeah, you kind of got to bring it to their attention first.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful, because if you can lean into it too hard and then people turn against you.
Yeah. And I think that's like what we see happening right now is like people are, really, really, really with the movement. And I love that. And I love that passion. And I think that they're just going so in. And then like, we see white people like, well, that's not fair. That's not inclusive. And so I don't know. I just think it's that like, people are getting like, we need to air all of our dirty laundry for us to like, when you're cleaning your room, sometimes it needs to like get messier. Or, like when you're organizing something, I always feel like I get it. It's like way messier before I can like put everything away, because I need to take everything out.
Yes.
And then I need to reorganize and separate. So I feel like that's what's happening. It's like there's so much happening right now, and it's everybody's dirty laundry, but like we're gonna like hopefully we're gonna like this is gonna be a good learning lesson for everybody like in our generation, because I don't think any of us are like ignorant to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I've been trying to lay off of social media. That's been my approach.
Yeah, definitely. As like if I have like work, or if I have something that I need to focus on, I need to stay away from it, because it makes me mad.
It's toxic.
And it's
you
toxic.
You lean into it, and then you're like, Jesus.
You're like, I can't. Like you just like lose. You just spiral. So yeah.
That's exactly what you do. You start spiraling.
And then I hate to like, I think like a lot of our peers, post all of their opinions. I'm like, I can't see this. I'm like, I can't do it. So I've definitely taken that approach too. Like, sometimes like, I think it's not important about what you post. It's important of like what you do behind the scenes. Like, are you going to protests? Are you, like if you believe in the cause, like, are you going to protests? Are you contributing to the organizations? Like, are you donating? Are you, are you speaking to your family? Like, are you doing the things behind the scenes that are important? Or are you just spouting? Like, are you just trying to look cool on the internet? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that.
So you've gone to a few of these rallies then?
Yeah, I have.
Just locally?
Yeah, just locally.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to the big one in Eureka, and that was not the night that it was raining and people almost got hit. It was like the second night.
Down by the courthouse?
Down by the courthouse.
Okay.
And then we walked to the police station, and then I went to one in Ferndale, and Jocelyn spoke, and I listened to Jocelyn and Sindel speak. And that was really cool.
Oh, Sindel spoke too?
Yeah, Sindel spoke too.
Oh, yeah. What did she have to say? she
just said like how it's not like how like as a white person like what she's doing, like what her how she's changing her attitudes or whatever, and like how she's checking like, okay, like I'm white, so like I need to speak out for these people, or and then she also talked about like how her best friend faces adversity, like how Jocelyn has they like, I think somebody screamed the N-word at her and Jocelyn because they were holding up signs. So it's like just stuff like that. So it was really interesting. I liked it.
I've not been to a rally. I've
Yeah,
not checked it out.
they're definitely, I think, like, I definitely, when the movement like first started, when things were really, really kind of crazy, that was the best here. I think that there's still like protests in like the Bay Area and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah, my thing was I would totally be willing to go. My fear is that when it starts going sideways,
Yeah.
like I can't be around for that.
Definitely. I mean, for me, I was like, you know what? Like, I want to talk about this all the time. I want to like retweet things on Twitter. I want to say this and that. But like, okay, at the end of the day, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I need to put myself like somewhere where I'm scared. Like, so I wrote my roommate's like phone number on my arm or whatever, just in case things got crazy.
So you were serious. You were
well,
like
somebody had like gotten arrested the night before. So I was like, I knew I wasn't gonna like be causing problems.
Go
but like
crazy.
who knows?
Yeah.
So I was like,
burning
like,
a cop car 1 minute.
Exactly. Yeah. That wasn't my plan. But it was just kidding.
You don't know what's gonna happen. It's crazy out there in front of the courthouse.
I know. It was really peaceful though, and it was like I was so happy that I went, and I like put myself out of my comfort zone, and I was like, you know what? I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Like I can't sit here and like talk to my family about like how unfair this all is, but do nothing.
So can anyone just go up and speak? Or is it
no,
they've got some order to it?
They have some order to it,
okay.
Yeah. The one in Ferndale was like really low key. Like we were all just sitting around, and like just different community members were like raising their hand and like going up to speak. And so that was like really low key. There was like maybe 100 people there. So it was definitely a lot more low key. The one that happened in Eureka was really big. And so 3 people I think there was 3 speakers. And then they did like a really good job of like what they were saying. So
who are these people? Is there some group that's...
Yeah, I think there's an organization that's like planning these protests. I know that Humboldt Grassroots planned the one where somebody almost got hit or did get hit with that one car.
It was like a truck.
It was like a truck, yeah.
But weren't they beating on the hood of it or something?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. It was scary looking though. But yeah, they when I went to the second protest, it was organized by a different group of people. And it was just, I think they did it through Facebook. And they were like, shame on you, Humboldt Grassroots, for not like protecting us. Like they didn't get any permits or whatever. So they were like, they kind of just like had people go out. They had no plan for where people were going to walk. And so I think it could have gotten really bad. Yeah.
One of the things that I was talking with Soraya about is it doesn't seem like a leader has come out of this yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's some unifying voice or some voice to rally behind. It's all these different factions.
Yeah.
Who are kind of shouting the same thing, but
in a kind of different way.
Yeah, and have vastly different views of what direction we're going to go with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons it's hard for people to get behind is because you could go to this group over here who says, yeah, we're for this movement. And they're saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Or you go over here and they're way more mellow and you're like, oh, okay, but they're with the same, they're all in the same thing. Like what does that look like?
Yeah, that's definitely weird. I think that's like, that's definitely challenging. I don't know though. I think it's like I said, like, I think instead of like, we're so focused on like our phones and social media. So it's like really hard to like be like, okay, like, this is not important really. Like, like it's informative, but we're really not going to do a whole lot on here. Like it's important to go and vote for people that, Kanye. I don't know. It's important to go and vote and to like do that kind of stuff and make sure that like you're informed on just do the things that you can do in your power. Like we live in a democracy. Like we should be like stoked to vote. Like, you know what I mean? Like it should be like a celebration. Like we should love to do it. We should all be researching like who we're going to vote for. But it's just really not that way. People just really don't care. So I think like instead of, being angry and upset, which you are totally willing, and I'm angry and upset, like that is totally an acceptable emotion, but we need to channel it. You know what I mean? I think we can't, like it's hard to have all these different mouthpieces saying different things, but I think what's important is those different people really don't have very much say. It's like, okay, we need to focus this and we need to see who we're electing and see who has control over our narrative, like, and over our policies.
Yeah. That's one of the funniest things is when people complain about Trump and then you ask them, hey, who did you vote for? Oh, I didn't vote.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Well, this is partly your fault.
Exactly.
So like you don't get to complain about this anymore because you didn't vote.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we doing? Why are you complaining if you didn't even do anything about it?
Yeah. No, I know. I get it. It's so interesting. I feel like I was also the same podcast I was listening to about China. She was saying like never. So we're a democracy. And so the Chinese, like, I think are pretty, like, I think that there's riots and stuff, but like they're pretty willing to just listen to what the king has to say, and then they just pretty much follow it. So like the king does, I think, or whatever, who the emperor listens to, whoever listens to like what his people are saying. But so there is some like there is like a little bit of like movement, but like the Chinese people don't have, there's not like, oh, this is horrible, this is a terrible system. They're like, oh, like I trust him to make the right choices for us. But we elect our officials and are still upset by like what happens. Like I feel like we're like, oh, like we're going to elect this person, but we're still angry and upset. Like, I'm not going to listen to what you say, even though I'm the one that elected you.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting. We have like a really weird, like we're all about freedom, but it's weird because sometimes it means that like, when is it okay to be like, I want to do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. Doesn't matter who I hurt. So when does that, like, how does that mindset affect us,
What do you mean?
Like, I think, like, I guess, like, a good example would be the mask thing. Like, oh, it's an infringement on my rights, so I'm not going to wear it. But you could be hurting somebody by doing that. Like, you could literally be getting somebody sick by doing it. So it's like, and we have that, I mean, we have, like, freedom in this country to do whatever we please for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting, like, where do we kind of draw the line? Like, are we going to look out for one another, or are we just going to be like, oh, well, this makes me uncomfortable, so I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's interesting.
Well, it's hard because that mentality is almost ingrained in what it means to be American.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're going to go out, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you're going to go do it by yourself, and you're going to get there.
Yeah.
By any means necessary.
Yeah. No, we're definitely an extremely, like, individualistic society. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that breeds well. Like, I think that, like, we start feeling things like, oh, like I'm a failure for moving back home, because I needed help or whatever. Like I couldn't swing it on my own. So like I'm a failure for moving back home. And that's not fair to think about. Like I think it does take it takes a community to help you, like you should have your community around you.
Yeah.
We definitely don't. We definitely don't think about it that way at all.
Yeah, it's a hard line, right? Because on one side it motivates you.
Yeah.
Because then when you're at home, you're like, man, okay, I got to do something.
Oh, yeah.
I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But if it was, I mean, look at Italy, right? You could live with your family for decades.
Yeah. Care. Yeah.
You've got your grandparents living with you, your parents, and then there's you.
Yeah. I don't know. And it's hard to think, like, I definitely enjoy my individualism. Like, and I enjoy, like, I think it's just so ingrained in how we think in our psyche is like to think me is important. Like I'm important. I'm not affected by anything, which is challenging. But I don't know. It's like a hard line. It's like a hard line to draw. Like when do we give people a break? Like for, relying on others. Cause I think also like it's really looked down upon for you to be on unemployment. Like to not have a job. Like people
there's a huge stigma right now.
There is huge. Like, and you could be like, who knows what's going on. And like, I'm sure like I've even like checked myself like, whoa, like why am I judging this person for being on unemployment right now? Like I have no room. Like my uncle's on unemployment. Do I love him any different? No, So I think, we like all kind of like, how come you didn't do that by yourself? Like, how could you take government money? Like, how could you get help? Like, and you didn't pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do it.
It's like the same thing with the healthcare. Like, you can't pay your own bills.
Yeah, exactly.
You need the government to pay for you.
Exactly. So it's definitely weird.
I don't know how you go about breaking that.
You definitely, I don't even know. I think that we're like, the fact that we're even talking about it is important.
Yes.
Like I think the fact that it's even like a thought in general.
It's on your radar.
Is important. And we talk about this a lot in my English classes. Like the United States really likes to treat people like they're individuals. And like a lot of other countries kind of realize that like, real other cultures kind of realize like, yo, like we're in this together. Like we've got to do this together. And so, there's pros and cons for that, but definitely we definitely have an interesting way of thinking about things. Like this is my freedom. It's all about me and I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps, do it myself without anybody's help.
you really feel that sense of community, like especially as an American, if you're in a foreign country.
Oh, yeah.
And you run into somebody else who's American, you're like, yeah, you guys are like best friends.
Yeah.
Whereas if you met on the street here, you'd probably just walk past each
You'd
other.
be like,
yeah. But
exactly.
over there, it's like, oh my God, we're both Americans. Like,
yeah,
we're a community.
I know, it's interesting. I don't know why we don't think that more often, but I think like we do. We live our own like very separate lives. I feel like a lot of the times, like I don't know, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I feel like part of it comes from we don't have a unifying cause. Nothing's pulling. Like if World War III happened,
yeah, we'd all be
riding for each other.
Yeah.
But life, I think that comes from life being to an extent pretty easy.
Yeah.
Right, where you can just kind of stay in your own lane and keep your head down, and you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Whereas if life was hard and we all had to work together to get food, then we'd be way more invested in each other's lives and how you're doing and how he's doing. And
I do think one of the maybe the positives that's coming out of Corona, I feel like is like we are kind of maybe checking in with people more often. Like I think like we're more worried about like our relatives who are a little bit older. Like we're checking in with them, making sure they're not like feeling lonely. And we're like, you know, like I think I've thought about more people more than I ever have. Like I really am. Like I'm really worried about getting people sick. Like, you know, I know that I'll be fine, but I don't want to get my mom sick. My mom has like an autoimmune disorder. Like, you know, like if I'm around somebody that has it and I'm not doing my part, like I could get her sick and she could be really, really sick.
Yeah.
So like I do think that maybe like coronavirus has kind of helped us think about it, but I also know like just like taking as many English classes as I have, like that's definitely something we talk about, like kind of like the human condition, and like the human condition here is like you know, it's not a good or a bad thing that we're individualistic. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we really want to attach emotion to everything. And sometimes it's important to be like, okay, well, it's not a bad thing and it's not a good thing. It's just a thing. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And attaching emotion sells.
Yeah.
If you're emotionally invested in something.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, 10 years down the road, I think we're going to look back and we're going to blame the media for a lot of what's happened.
Yeah. I think the media is really damaging. I think that social media is really damaging. I think that like we get into an echo chamber. So like basically what an echo chamber is like you have a certain view and opinion. And so the only thing that you're going to do is like that certain view and opinion. And so that's the only thing that you're going to see. And it's just going to like literally echo.
Yeah.
Like your views are going to echo. And like, because of course you're not going to want to read about like obviously I'm not going to read about like, you know, healthcare and healthcare being privatized forever, you know, and how like the dangers of socialized medicine. But, you know, I think like, yeah, the media is really damaging that way. Like we are not like, there is no, like, it's either left or it's right. It's not like, there is no like
middle ground.
There is no middle ground. But I think we also forget that, I think we forget that social media is just like, it's just social media and it's just the media. Like we need to understand that there's physical things that are happening and we can do like voting and like making sure we're informed about who's in office and what their views are, you know? So I think that like we really forget about what happens outside of social media.
Well, it's easier on social media.
Oh yeah.
It's easier to just
like
tweet or retweet or like something than it is to go read a book on some subject you don't know about or go vote.
And you're not, and like the 99% of the people aren't going to do that, you know?
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm not going to go like look up, you know, not taxing people or whatever the Republicans feel like. I don't care enough to do that. So like, I'm not going to do it.
How many people actually know what Biden's plan on anything is?
Yeah.
Does it even matter? I don't even think it matters.
I don't even think, well, yeah. And I feel like that's what we saw with Hillary Clinton and Trump. It was like, you know, I feel like, and that's where you kind of get into like the Trump supporters, their only like defense for Trump is like Trump 2020. Like that's their only argument for Trump.
Yeah.
So it's just like interesting.
It's just too catchy.
Yeah, it's just too,
Trump 2020 sounds way better than Biden 2020.
That's true.
And Kanye 2020. That one does sound good, but that one's scary.
That one's terrifying.
That one worries me a little bit.
But I mean, Trump is already the scariest I feel like we've gotten. I don't know.
Who do you think you'd vote for out of those three?
Biden, I guess. Yeah. I'm going to write in somebody.
There is another woman running as a libertarian, I think. Yeah. Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah.
Jorgensen.
Yeah, I haven't been super with it in the presidential elections. Usually this is my thing. Like I love the presidential like elections. Like I was so into it when Trump and Hillary got like
that was a perfect time for us.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what got me into it.
Yeah.
I think I'm more into it now because of everything and we're older.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a big introduction.
That was the first like sort of introduction. I think just because of COVID and like I just feel like our options are so bleak.
Mm-hmm.
Like being a woman and seeing that like somebody who's literally sexually assaulted numerous women can come into office. Like what does that say about my gender? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're just going to let him do whatever he wants to women, period.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of scary to see. And like Biden is the same way. Like he's no saint. He's no innocent person. So like I think that's disheartening to see that they like literally have like nobody does anything, it feels like. I don't know.
Yeah, Trump's views are weird.
Trump, I don't even think he has any views.
Trump,
like
yeah, it's almost like he just throws
ping pong.
What
like,
sticks? I'm gonna throw it out there, and if people like it, then I'm gonna roll with it.
Exactly. Like
if he wasn't president, he would be a very even that he is president. He's a very interesting person to look at, and just like if you were at a zoo, just look at him and be like, what is going on?
What's going on up there?
Yeah, is anything going on up there? Or are we just going and seeing how it pans out?
Yeah. I think I was talking to my, I think some class, I don't remember, but like he's actually kind of smart because he really appeals to like, especially I think he's kind of losing it now. I just think the way he's dealt with coronavirus and like think people are actually seeing like their jobs being taken away and like no checks coming in the mail for them to like pay their bills. So I think like now finally there's some sort of like, okay, this is not good.
Little pushback.
Yeah. But I think to begin with, he really spoke to a lot of angry poor people. And he was like, I'm going to get you guys jobs.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight for you guys, which is so funny because that is not who he is interested in or worried about.
And that's not what he did.
And of course not. But I think we were looking at his speech and he used very, like in all of his speeches, he used very simple language. So like when you're using simple language, you can come, like you are letting an audience that normally isn't involved in political conversation because it's, you know, like too smart. Like you have to be too smart to like be educated and informed on it. But Trump was like speaking to those people and they came out for him. So that was really interesting, I felt like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these politicians, it's almost a detriment that they're too articulate and their vocabulary is so big that they're pulling out all these words that nobody has any idea what they're talking about. And so if somebody comes on that's, you know, can speak like a layperson, I guess, and I can identify with them, why would I not vote for them?
Exactly. He's like, he's saying that he's going to give me a job. Yeah. And I can understand that. And he's talking how I talk.
He's going to drain the swamp.
Yeah, exactly. Like these are, you know, things that I say and this is what I relate to. So yeah, like of course I'm going to vote for him.
If anything, he is very good at manipulating.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Oh yeah. He knows his base of voters. He really knows who to look to.
Yeah. For Teflon Don, he can get away with anything.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to ride for him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, literally, we've seen.
Yeah.
And I think like also like it's also kind of like it's sort of illuminated things in a way that's like kind of scary because so much like he can just say whatever he wants to say and like nothing, I don't know, it's just insane. It's nuts. Like no policy. He's making no policies. He's doing very little for us, I feel like, but just like a talking piece. He's just a...
Yeah. Well, Biden's just a talking piece too.
Yeah.
Who's pulling the strings behind that guy?
Oh, fully. And I'm sure like, I really liked what Bernie had to say, but I'm sure he's the same way.
You know what burnt me about Bernie was that did you see the little pun there?
Yeah, I did. Good one.
There was a meeting to vote for some bill that gave the FBI power to look at your search history. They don't need a warrant. They can just see what you're browsing.
Yeah.
And if he would have showed up and voted against it, it wouldn't have gone through. Yeah. But he just didn't show up that day, so it passed. Oh, yeah. Which, come on, Bernie. Yeah. Everything you say and your whole platform, and you're going to not go shoot that down? Yeah. Come on. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way on him a little bit.
I think like at the end of the day, we have to remember that these are politicians. Like they're just people. They're just people, but like their interests are not necessarily with the people. I think sometimes their interests are usually with who is lobbying like to them.
Oh yeah.
You know, like they have no.
I think most of the time that's true.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I think like that's where like I get frustrated too. Like I've lost a lot of like in my old age, lost a lot of like kind of hope for this country. Like, like, these people don't care about what we go through. Like they don't want to give us health care. They just want to like make sure that their pockets are lined and all of their friends' pockets are lined. And that's that's kind of scary and sad to think about.
It's disheartening.
It is disheartening.
Yeah. But what do you expect?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, what are we going to like?
This is what politics is. There's a new documentary out about Bobby Kennedy.
Oh, shoot.
I want to see that one. Because that guy, from what I've heard, was actually genuine and was about the people and wanted to help people. Yeah. That's supposed to be. I've heard good things about him and that documentary, but I want to check that out.
I should look that up.
Yeah, but you don't find very many politicians like that.
No, because I think it's hard to get elected. I mean, I think what we saw with Bernie is like I think there was like I don't think anybody wanted Hillary Clinton. Like
when she was running against Trump?
When she was running against Bernie. Like I guess living here, like I feel like we saw either Bernie stickers or Trump stickers. Like we didn't see any Hillary stickers, Yeah. And so I think like it was extremely disheartening to see because she's like a part of the problem. Mm-hmm. Like she definitely like, I mean, who knows what she's thinking. I don't think she goes to sleep at night worried about like the poor and the homeless and the uninsured.
She's just sleeping on a pile of money.
Exactly. Every night. She's not tripping.
Yeah. She doesn't care if she's president or not. She's got so much power.
Yeah, no, she's chilling.
Yeah, she's rocking.
So yeah, I think we need to realize like, these people like they don't care.
It's crazy because it's not like this is something new.
No.
Like this has been politics
forever.
For a long time. Mm-hmm. But everyone buys the message.
Mm-hmm. I think finally, with Trump, like seeing that like he could get elected, I think for me, I was like, okay, these people just really like, I think right at the end of, because Obama had all of this momentum and whatever, and he had all of this like stuff that he was going to get done for the American people, and he didn't, and it was really sad to see that. And I think just in and of itself, being a black man becoming the president is super important. It's like a ginormous leap in the right direction. But he did promise like the American people so much.
He sold a dream.
Yeah. And I remember, I think something that really, really kind of upset me was that, so when the 2008 crash happened, it was because of private banks and they were, giving out predatory loans. So if he had the option to turn all banks federal, so there would be no bottom line that bankers had to get to. So like there would be no profit being made. Mm-hmm. So all the bank would do would be carry your money. They
wouldn't invest it.
Yeah, they wouldn't invest it or whatever.
I didn't know that.
So I think like I think that was like something. One of his platforms was like to federalize, or something because like that was like right in the midst of his campaign, and he was like, you know what, let's still let the bankers do whatever and prey on these poor people, and he didn't do anything about it. So that really made me upset. Like, okay, like clearly he's not here for us. He's here for the Wall Street bankers who are making billions of dollars, totally preying on people for their money.
So then what do you do? If every politician's going to lie to you, how do you...
I don't know.
I really thought Bernie was going to get it.
I thought Bernie was going to get it this year too.
But they just do. The DNC is a beast.
They do not.
Yeah.
They're not.
I thought Tulsi Gabbard had a chance too. I really thought more people were going to like her.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But she just didn't get any traction.
I kind of thought that what's his face? He was the Mike Bloomberg. I was like, great, they're going to pick him.
I thought he was going to get washed out.
But then I was like, oh, yeah.
Bloomberg, come on.
I know, yeah, he was not.
That's like Trump.
Exactly, 2.0. Yeah. I was like, oh, perfect, DNC.
For the left, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's our Trump.
Exactly. I saw that.
The problem is Trump is too charismatic, and he's got some jokes.
Yeah.
And so whoever goes up against him, he's just going to slander.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be funny, and people are going to vote for him.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe Kanye against, like, if Kanye's running on an independent ticket, then he will not debate Trump. because I don't think they
God, that would be funny.
That would be so funny. That would make
Kanye
me
debating
so.
Trump.
Oh my gosh,
that would be something to see, no matter where it goes.
Oh god,
just to see it, because Kanye is all over the place, just as Kanye. President Kanye. That doesn't even sound
President
right.
West.
Kim Kardashian would be the first lady. Whoa, the first lady would have had a sex tape.
That's sparked.
Jesus. That's going to be the Oval Office. We got Kanye shooting
Kim,
music videos.
Out of the office. Oh my god.
I don't know.
No, that's actually illegal. You can't make your own money while you're the president.
What if you just put it out on YouTube for free?
I don't know. Yeah, then I guess he could, but he couldn't take any money for it. He could
You think Trump's taking money?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There's
all of his businesses that he didn't really step away from.
Oh no.
And his golf resort that he's always at.
Oh yeah.
Mar-a-Lago. That's
something like that.
Yeah. I think
there's
that's
no way.
Come on.
I know. There's no way he's not.
That guy's got his hands in everything.
Definitely. I don't know. I think that's definitely the shady side of like politicians and the political, like the way we do things here. But I don't know. But I still think it's like, I don't know, even though I'm like extremely disheartened by like what's happening, like I still do want to say in like our local elected officials and like all that stuff. So like I'm not gonna not vote, but I'm definitely gonna have to decide who I'm gonna vote for between Biden and Trump. That's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
And Kanye now.
And Kanye. And Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah.
I think that's her name.
Yeah. It would be interesting if we could finally have like a third party like do really well.
Imagine if she wins.
That would be crazy.
That would be insane. That would be almost more crazy than Trump winning.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably would be.
It would be. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had a third party candidate win, have we?
No, we haven't. We have not. I think we've gotten close like one time. It was like Al Gore, and what's his face? Bush. It was like Al Gore, Bush, and then there was another person who ran.
He almost won?
Yeah, and he almost won. And he like pulled votes away from the Democratic candidate, and then they blamed the Green Party for like pulling candidate.
Gore actually won that one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't Bush call for a recount or
yeah,
something?
And then there was like something funky in Florida. Yeah,
it got a little dicey.
Yep. That was interesting.
Never know.
Politics, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's an interesting way of like organizing things in our country.
It's going to be crazy to see what happens this November.
Oh yeah. I'm like, oh God. I'm not ready.
I think The Rock's going to throw his hat in.
The Rock.
I think so. I've seen his name thrown around a ton. I think he might actually do it.
It's just a bunch of famous people running our country.
Yep. I think The Rock would win.
That would be
I think people would just vote for him just because it's The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they have money and a following. What more do you really need?
That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Trump proved that.
Oh yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah. The times we live in. 2020.
I know. Welcome to 2020. Who would have thought?
I know.
Who would have thought we were gonna debate about important things?
Trump and Kanye.
Oh,
Kanye 2020.
What would they even talk about? Like, what would their debate even be like? Well, I make more money. No, I make more money.
Yeah. Kanye might just start rapping.
Yeah.
Trump would be Trump.
I know Kanye would say something because he's like so woke.
Mm-hmm.
Like he always says like really woke things.
He needs to go to sleep.
But like don't make any sense. Like he says things that are like he thinks are so woke. That's what he would say. I feel like Trump would be like.
And then Trump wouldn't know what to say in response. Be like, build the wall, and everyone would cheer, and that'd be the end of the debate.
Exactly.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Very strange.
Very strange. All right, well, we just did 2.5 hours,
man.
Damn,
okay.
Yeah, we were scooting. Do you want to plug your social media?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So my Instagram is CammyCam_04. Follow me. I think that's the only one. You can follow me on Facebook, Camillia Seghetti.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I had a great time talking to you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys.